Thank you so much. So I hope that some of you were able to make it up to the Santa Margarita Ranch on Sunday. Dana Madison put on a party like nobody's party, along with the Leadership SLO Board of Directors. So in recognition of my retirement from Leadership SLO, there were lovely words from Maggie Cox and from Dave Garth, two humans I've been lucky enough to call friends for a long time. There was a presentation from our Congressman, Salud Carbajal, and a resolution from our County Board of Supervisors. And the Leadership SLO Board announced a full scholarship named for me and funded this year through Gary Grossman and the folks at San Luis Ranch, and I thank Kate Norton for arranging that. I got to square dance with a couple of hundred Leadership SLO alumni. And like the age-old question from Talking Heads, I had to ask myself, well, how did I get here? I thought about some of the pivotal moments in my career in nonprofit service and the wise people who helped shape me as a leader, and I hope as a servant leader. My mom and dad were servant leaders, and I got an early start with my 4 siblings as we were dropped off on street corners in our Inglewood neighborhood of LA to do door-to-door leafleting for the campaign of a young mayoral candidate, Tom Bradley. I learned to be polite and grateful to the folks opening their doors, and I also learned that making change is hard work. I worked for Barbara Davey at the Cambria Pines Lodge, where I once set up a banquet for 200 without noticing whether the tablecloths were placed with their hem down or the hem up. So naturally, the hem down is the way a good table should look. So Barb made me take apart 200 place settings to do it right. I learned that planning and attention to detail are important, not to say expected. I sat on the board of directors for this Chamber of Commerce in the early 90s and watched a masterful servant leader and fellow nonprofit executive, Dave Garth, prepare timely agendas, submit balanced budgets for consideration, and lead conversations that were pro and con on controversial topics. Later, from Ermina Karim, I learned kicking and screaming the value of outcomes-based strategic planning in staying true to your mission and accountable to your stakeholders. From my friend Eric Greening, who appears at the SLO County Board of Supervisors hearing every Tuesday, I learned that good research, not to mention courtliness and kindness when addressing folks of conflicting ideas, will engender respect and attention to your point of view. From my sponsor in my 12-step program, I learned to really try to accept the things I cannot change and the courage to change the things that I can. From Liz Summer, I learned to stand in integrity and truth in the court of public opinion. From Barry Vanderkellen and Leanne Standish, I've learned that creating meaningful relationships with donors is the only chance of sustainable sponsorships and furthering your mission. And from my dearest Steve McGraw, I've learned that in both the public realm and the nonprofit realm, the public who supports you deserves complete transparency in every aspect of your organization. I also learned that selective listening can only be a benefit in marriage, not in the public realm. I know that each of you has a list of folks and events that have shaped your leadership, and I'll look forward to talking to our new Executive Director for Leadership Development, Dan Revoir, on who his mentors have been. There are hundreds of others, many in this room, who've helped me be the leader who could lead Leadership SLO for the past 10 years. I've strived to pay attention and learn from you, sometimes successfully, sometimes not. At the end of my bio on the Chamber webpage, it says, Sandi prays regularly for relief from the burden of self-righteousness. I trust in the years to come, you'll be mentors who chide me into remembering that prayer and help me on the lifelong road to becoming a servant leader. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for the privilege of leading Leadership SLO. Thanks.